Welcome back to Culture Corner Review for culture news, reviews, and everything in between. Let's get it.
Yes, what's poppin'? So the verdict is in. Tory Lanez guilty on all 3 counts of what he was charged with, right? And unfortunately, people still continue to be on opposite sides of this because people feel like a fair shake wasn't given, justice wasn't served. Other people feel like a fair shake was given, justice was served. So people still continue to be divided and standing on opposite sides. No matter what I think or what anybody else thinks who was not in that courtroom, it doesn't matter. If you was not privileged to the courtroom conversations, if you are not privileged to the actual transcripts, you really can't argue definitively. You can only continue to give your opinion, and myself and anybody else, no matter what side you stand on, neutrally, Tory, Megan, whatever side you on, whatever position you hold. Without those things, transcript or being in that courtroom, you only left with your opinion that you've received from bits and pieces of blog sites. My position with this, as I spoke about maybe a week or so ago, is the divisiveness and the disrespect and the unnecessary things that are being said to and about black men and women. To this young man's post right here. Just because a man has an opinion about what he has seen, again, everybody could only judge and give opinions and perspectives based on what was being presented in media. And if a man believes that based on what he saw, if he drew the conclusion that he don't believe Megan or he doesn't believe Megan proved her side, that man is not to be made a bad man and his woman should leave him. Stop it. Stop it. People are entitled to their opinions. It doesn't mean that that's a bad man. That doesn't mean that that man will shoot a woman. That doesn't mean that man will beat a woman. That means that man has an opinion about what was presented in his opinion. Stop criticizing and critiquing this woman's sexual history and whether she was promiscuous or not. It doesn't matter. I said this last week. I don't care who this woman slept with. She could have slept with all players of every league, of every type of sport. That's her business. It has nothing to do with this. Who she slept with other than Tory Lanez does not matter. And the only reason it matters whether or not she slept with him was once it was starting to be said that her and Kelsey fought over him. If they fought over him, then whether or not she slept with him becomes relative. Because everything, every crime has an inception period. Where did this come from? What is the motive? Why did this happen? So if in fact that part of the story had any validity, if it had any type of validity that they argued over this man about him sleeping with both of them, then her sleeping with him became relative. If that thing never comes into the equation, if that conversation is never started, if that accusation is never presented, then her sleeping with Tory wouldn't have mattered, because what she does with her body has nothing to do with who pulled that trigger. I'm trying to encourage people to stop talking with feelings and emotions. The verdict is in, and you still can continue to stand on whatever side you stand on. But because people don't see it the way that you do, it doesn't make them less than, and it doesn't make them a woman beater. It doesn't, if you stand on either side, whatever your perspective is, it doesn't mean that you are against men or women. Stop with all of these baseless, meaningless conversations. Leave that lady alone about who she slept with, and leave men alone who decided whatever their position is. That's it, and that's all.
Yeah, so the verdict is in. Guilty on all charges. Now, we weren't in the courtroom to actually hear exactly what was going on, but I'll go one step further and say even if we were in the courtroom, stories have changed so many times by different individuals. We won't really know exactly what happened. We'll never know because we weren't there. And so we're at the mercy of just forming our opinions based upon what we see in the media and what we hear and all that kind of stuff. No matter what, we're all entitled to our own opinion. We're able to form our own opinions based upon what we see, and no one should hold that against the other person or hold it against someone else. This topic has divided households, I'm sure, affected some friendships and relationships just based upon where an individual stands. Be fair to Meg, be fair to Tory, because this is their real life. It's entertainment to most people, but this is their real life and their consequences to it. This is the result of a bad night. This is the result of a bad night with bad decisions involving alcohol, feelings and emotions. And really, if you think about it, I'm going to go on a limb and say something like 50 to 80% of people locked up, they're there because of a bad night. We've all had a bad night. Their bad night just resulted in consequences that got them behind bars. So we all know what a bad night is. We all know what a bad day is. So let's just, give all parties involved some grace, give them some space and wish them all well. With that being said, that's it for this Culture Corner review. Remember, life is too short for anything but love. Bless up.